It took me a while to really adjust because I had literally left a combat zone. A day later, I'm back in civilization. And it was very, very weird. And thinking about it's weird. All right, everybody. Terrence Popp here with another episode, live from the Lair. And today we're going to be covering, more of my fiasco, me being wounded, and all the bullshit that went on with that fucking nut roll. All right, so I was in Germany for about a month. I don't recall the exact amount of days, but it just became routine, running their formations, sending guys to appointments, and then, doing my own appointments, which, this is weird. When you're there at the Army hospitals or military installations, they would run their MRI machine and CAT scan x-rays 24/7. All right. They were always manned. So a lot of my appointments I had to go to like 11, 12 o'clock at night, especially if there's any imaging with contrast, that's where they inject like some kind of dye into you, and then supposedly it lights you up better so they could, look at shit better, which is fine. So I did all that, and then since I volunteered for the TBI study, I got sent to Walter Reed, and I was there, I think 1 or 2 months. I think it was more like 2 months, somewhere in there. And I did get to go home for Christmas for 10 days, which was not bad. I remember, it was pretty anticlimactic. Me and the two other guys, or one other guy that was in my room, went to Walter Reed. The other guy, he dropped off the map, went back to his state or whatever. I don't know exactly what happened to him. So, while at Walter Reed, I had 3 more MRIs. They ran their stuff the same way, 24/7, 365. I did a couple appointments after 10 o'clock at night. When I got there, they put me in a room with a roommate who was batshit fucking crazy. All right, he was fucking nuts. White guy, clean cut, polite. But he suffered from some kind of OCD or some kind of mental breakdown. I mean, the guy literally brushed his teeth between 5 and 8 times a day. He had brushed the enamel off his teeth. He was fucking crazy, and I just got to the point where, don't really want to be sharing a room with a crazy guy, so I pulled some strings and got moved somewhere else. Let's see. That's crazy guy. Okay, I did do the... if you're ever down there at Walter Reed, I don't know if the museum is still open, but it's a museum about military medicine. And I don't know, it started like in the 1700s and went all the way up to today, and they showed all kinds of crazy ass shit, and a lot of Civil War wounds and body parts. They had some body parts in formaldehyde, and it just, wow. If you're down in that area, you should check it out. I mean, it's not bad. All right, so my now ex-wife did come to visit me there once, which was not bad. It was kind of weird. A lot of people don't know this, but it took me a while to really adjust because I had literally left a combat zone, and a day later I'm back in civilization, and it was very, very weird making that adjustment. I don't know, man. Wow. I mean, thinking about it's weird. I mean, I really think for the mental health of the troops in the future, they need to have some kind of decompression time before they come back to the land of the big PX. Because when you think about it, when you get up in the morning and by the time you go back to sleep, you've followed probably 10,000 rules and regulations subconsciously. All right, it's just second nature. Then you go to a world where none of that exists, not even the rules of the Bible. When people are wanting to kill you, you have to kill them. And you have to, your mind adjusts to living in that environment of like, hey, there's barely any rules. And then all of a sudden, within 24 hours, you go from there to the, radical extreme again, and you're never the same. Okay, I mean, basically because your mind adapted to living in the box, and it doesn't unadapt. It might get easier with time, but it doesn't go back to the way it was before. And anyone who tells you that or any kind of therapist that tells you that, that's not true, they're full of shit. All right. Let's see. I remember I came home for Christmas, saw my kids. It was really good. Missed the hell out of my daughters, especially the older one, because the young one had just been born. She was maybe 6 months old at the time. But, when they get about 2 or 2.5 years old, they become a lot of fun. And, I really miss my daughters. And I'm glad I didn't get whacked out and smacked out. So, that was cool. And I did terminate my $1 million war clause life insurance policy I had on myself when I came back for Christmas. And that was relatively expensive, but it's worth the peace of mind, I guess. I mean, if I would have got whacked, I'd have had that $1 million life insurance policy, plus I would have got the $500K from the government, so $1.5 million. Not too bad. What I really hated about Walter Reed is there's just so many people that were just broken. I just saw so many soldiers missing arms and legs, and big chunks of meat taken out of their skulls, and guys with their eyes just missing, burnt. Holy shit, it was just a fucking parade of fucking endless misery. And I will never get to. I'll never get used to that. And every time I think about it, it just disturbs me. But that's what happens when you send guys to war. They get tore up really good. All right. Now, I did take the subway all around D.C., Virginia, Maryland. I saw like 3 or 4 different cities, to include Washington, D.C., which I was fairly unimpressed with. I went to all the monuments, saw all that horse shit. I suppose it's important that everyone should go see, once in their lifetime, just go down there and go check it out. I went to the Vietnam Memorial Wall, which was very, very, very surreal. And that's crazy. 58,000 guys. Their names are on that wall because they got zeroed out. And I believe 90% of them were drafted. And I believe 80% of them were below the age of 22. To include 2 16-year-olds and 3 17-year-olds. Which is pretty fucking scary. Now, at Walter Reed, they continued to make me the acting first sergeant for, the bay of guys I was in charge of. And I had a really hard time with these guys. They were back in the States. They just wanted to fucking get on with their lives, which I fully understand, but, they needed fucking help. And ignoring it would make it much worse. So, every day I would have to go track down guys or play Mr. Detective to go find wherever these fuckbags were that were missing their appointments. I did recruit 4 or 5 dudes that were basically in a good state of mind. And they... if some guy needed a chaperone or an escort somewhere, I would tell one of these other NCOs, hey, go down to room such and such, get, Joe shit the rag bag and walk his ass down to, psych, or, wherever he needed to go, blood work, whatever, make sure it gets done, because he's missed 2 or 3 appointments, and, people are getting fucking pissed off. So, these guys are all hurt in one way, one fashion or another. So, it doesn't pay to be, an asshole. All right. Just, stick in the mud asshole, who, just yells and it was a dick 24/7. So it did require a decent amount of compassion for these young troops. Most of them were 25 or younger. At that time, I think I was 35 or 36. Not sure. So I was 10 years senior to pretty much everyone there. That worked out pretty good. Now, let's see. I had to break up a couple fights. They had one guy there had suffered a really bad head injury, and he was just a surly, combative motherfucker. And he would fight on the drop of a hat. He even tried to fight me a couple times. And I scooped him up around the waist, took him to the ground, threw in my hooks into him, and just sat there till the fucking campus police showed up and restrained him. And 2 hours later they sent him back because he's got a TBI, man. What are you gonna do? They'd give him pills or a shot or something, put him to sleep. But that was definitely interesting. And another thing that I did there, and I also did this at Fort Bliss, is I had my laptop with me, and I had loaded up a game. It was from 1997 called Total Annihilation. And I had basically got one of the patches for it that adds a whole bunch of units and different kinds of stuff to it. It was pretty good. I had the discs with me, and I put it on 5 or 6 other computers, and we set up a huge network for the guys. Now, I would play the game, and my mind wasn't really, as sharp as it is now. I mean, because I was kind of fucked up. But I'd have a team of 4 or 5 guys. We'd all watch the screen, or we'd project it up on the wall, and we'd have one guy who would just watch the radar screen and give us warnings when fucking airplanes were coming in. Another guy would do the same thing with resources, or if I had to use the pistol, I'd hand off the fucking mouse to another guy. So I'd have 5 or 6 computers running, and then I would have, between 3 and 5 guys per computer as a team. Everyone fully engaged, using their fucking mental, faculties, and it worked out really well. I helped out a lot of soldiers doing that, and it really didn't hurt any that beer got introduced to the whole fiasco. But beer's good. Not going to complain. There was a cop. I think they call him campus security, but he was basically a cop. And an old Vietnam guy, and he was old as dirt, so I don't know what his deal was, but he was really cool. He would come by, and I would hang out with this guy, he'd bring me beer, we'd talk about fucking the old, the army of the 80s, and, he would tell me some of his Vietnam stories, which were pretty fucking interesting, because he was a 82nd paratrooper in Vietnam, wound up working for Mac V SOG. I think he did 3 tours. So, I mean, this guy, he'd seen his share of the storm, and I guess he was compassionate to the younger guys behind him who had to ride the same waves in that same storm. And that's just the way it goes. Another thing I noticed is I had a hard time being around people who spoke Arabic when I returned from Iraq for a while, about 24 months. When I would hear speaking Arabic, it would just enrage me, and I literally would find myself having to leave an area so I wouldn't say or do anything fucking stupid, which I wanted to say, but that's either here or there. But yeah, man, that was a very fucking trying time, because the headaches started in. You know, the thalamic pain started hitting home. And I had damage done in my neck, so I had figured out a way to get a traction collar, and I used that every night. In fact, I started taking the Ambien and using the traction collar, and I did that for 4 years, and I actually added a few millimeters of disc in between my discs from doing that. And I avoided having neck surgery, which is never good because there's a whole lot of nerves that run through there, and you know, one slip up and you're either dead or you're fucking drooling in a fucking, you know, a vat for the rest of your life. So didn't really care for that, that was kind of interesting that I avoided it. They're very thorough. I went to go see psychologists. You know, I went to see 3 neural doctors, a neurosurgeon. I had the MRIs read over and over by different individuals to get their takes on it. And every other day, I would have to go in and they would take blood, you know, and apparently they're looking for some kind of marker proteins that get released when you take a TBI. And they were tracking it in my bloodstream, and that was kind of annoying. But again, I volunteered to go there so I could help out some of the other guys behind me. That's how I roll. What are you going to do? It was very inconvenient. Emotionally, it was very draining. But at the end of the day, when you're part of the big green machine, you just got to bite the bullet, and hoping the guys behind you will be able to make it through. That's just the way it works. All right, gentlemen, that's me for today. I know this one was kind of boring, but moving forward, you know, the stories are not going to be, I don't know, I was basically in the reserves and stuff like that, so it's not like I was doing active duty stuff every day. So, but I still have some good shit coming up. All right, you guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you later.